It's a really, really good question. I think one has to step back to see the larger frame. I think Gandhi was the greatest person in the 20th century. Um, he understood the historical moment and he helped all of us, individuals and groups, see it and make the transition. So what the underlying force is really very straightforward. The rate of change and the degree and extent of interconnection is going up exponentially. And that just creates a new reality that requires us all to learn how to express love and respect in action in this very different environment. The rules just aren't there. The rate of change is too fast, and there are too many pieces interconnecting. And so one has to have conscious, empathy-based living for the good of all. Those are three things that have to work together. And that's the foundational set of abilities. And he understood that, and he, after very considerable personal struggles, figured out how to help everyone through this transition. How to help make a choice between the old patterns and this much stronger, better future based on this new conscious empathy-based living for the good. The Gandhian methodology has brought the empires and a whole series of patterns of discrimination, unfairness, inequity down. And his methodology of doing that is this amazing gift. So the rate of change, that's an underlying force. All of us then have to learn these different abilities. And the first big step is we have to realize that we have to do that. And so the Gandhian methodology gives everyone a choice. It creates situations where the choice is the old pattern, not fair, or the new pattern that you really have to follow if you're going to be a part of society, if you're going to be a person with a life. And not surprisingly, when people have that choice, they choose to be a part of society. And that can't be forced. It's got to be a personal choice. So if you look in the US, I grew up at the time of the Gandhian civil rights movement. We had 400 years of failing to deal with slavery. And then the Gandhian methodology allowed almost everybody to go through an extraordinary process of hundreds of changes in thinking and behavior. And those were all steps in the direction of being able to be a contributor, which means you have to be a giver. And that allows you to have a life of love and respect in action. And that's what brings health, happiness, and longevity. And so Gandhi was the prophet who showed us how to make this transition and how to help everyone else make the transition, how to help societies and groups through it. So the new architecture that Gandhi showed us has at its core that all of us are helping those around us, individuals and groups, have the power of being able to give. And that's what gives a good life. Now, think about it. When everyone has that power, and what do they want to do most? They want to help other people have that power. That's the best, the most important gift. And that's why we at Ashoka say that the ultimate, the most important human right is the right to give. Well, it took him a long time, but he developed a methodology. And it's probably the Salt March. Are you familiar with the Salt March? So salt is really important for all humans, and in a hot climate, it's even more important. And it was one of the ways the colonial government taxed ordinary people. They had a monopoly on salt production and sales. And so Gandhi announced that he was going to walk to the sea, it's 240 kilometers, and he would break the monopoly on the seashore. And so he started walking with his followers. And the march allowed, the British prohibited any coverage about Gandhi or the Congress. But that didn't work here. And so the drama built, and Gandhi arrived at Dundee. And he bent down and picked up some salt and broke the British salt monopoly. And he invited Indians. If you look at the map, it has a long coastal line. And all you have to do is take a pot and put some salt water in it and let it evaporate, and you have salt. And if you're not by the ocean, you can buy and sell and use the illegal salt. So this is a method that allows everyone to participate. So that's one part of it. But the most critical part is that there was no anger or violence allowed. And so the colonial people were basically saying, we're not inferior. We have the self-discipline to take on this great power, and they'll throw us in jail and they'll hit us with their batons, but we will not strike back. And there was the penultimate moment. So there were the big salt pans in Bombay, and there's a gate wall. In front of the gate are a bunch of uniformed representatives of the Raj with brown shirts and brown shorts and lathis. Lathis are a very vicious, hinged club. And there were then lines of Congress workers in white homespun khadi, and they would walk up in groups of 6 or 7 in a line, and they'd be hit and hurt. You'd hear the crack, and then women would come up with stretchers and take them off, and then the next line would come. So, and this went on for hours. And Gandhi was, of course, he understood how to communicate with the world. So he had a New York Times correspondent there whom he had cultivated from his time in South Africa. And, well, why the New York Times? Because America is not sympathetic to empires. And it's very powerful and influential. So what was going on there was a drama of the confrontation of people who would not lift a finger and not be angry, but have a global impact, a communications impact. But every time a person went to the sea and made salt, they were breaking the British Empire in one sense. They were also stating, I have the ability to have this sort of respect. And that's what was happening at Pettus Bridge in Selma. And you can see it wherever the Gandhian methodology is at work. People have to make a choice. They make the choice. Can't be forced. And the very heart of it is a commitment to this form of living, love and respect in action. And when you have it, you can't possibly feel inferior.